Welcome back to Scandinavia, the calm before the storm in the snow and ice on the final day of Rally Sweden in the company of the best drivers in the world. And we may be about to witness world rally history with Sebastian Ogier and Volkswagen on the verge of a maiden WRC victory. Rally Sweden's the second event on a calendar which features 13 different locations over the coming months, taking us from the season opener in Monte Carlo through to South America and the Australian bush before returning to Europe. But the past 3 days have been all about snow and ice as the two-man crews in the 1600cc turbocharged cars have fought over a succession of time stages through Sweden's forests. The ultimate prize to become world champion, and after disappointment in the first round in Monte Carlo, Finnish drivers Mikko Hirvonen and Jari-Matti Latvala were hoping to kickstart their title challenges here in an event traditionally dominated by Scandinavian drivers. But Hirvonen's hopes of victory were over as early as stage 2 when he buried his Citroën in a snowbank. Jari-Matti Latvala kept his Volkswagen on the road, but losing out in a battle with world champion Sebastian Loeb, the only non-Scandinavian to win here in Sweden back in 2004. But he may not hold that honour much longer. The opening 3 days here had been dominated by another Frenchman, Sebastian Ogier, clocking 8 stage wins to underline VW's impressive potential and his own championship credentials.
Everybody knows that to win a rally you have to cross the finish line, and you don't need to lead all the weekend, you just need to cross the finish line.
Ogier's lead going into the final day, just under 27 seconds, and confirmation that Loeb holds second place. Norway's Mads Osberg is in third. Those positions reversed to establish the starting order today. Ogier will have the advantage of starting 14th on the road, benefiting from the cleaner racing lines left thanks to the earlier runners. But even with the traction provided by the studded tyres on these cars, the consequences of a mistake can be huge. Matthew Wilson going out in spectacular style early yesterday when he rolled his Ford Fiesta, while a spectator caught Khalid Al-Qasimi going off the road and out of the rally on stage 15. And this is where the action all happens. The rally's based in Karlstad to the west of the country, and although this is Rally Sweden, some of today's stages are actually located in Norway. In fact, our first stage crosses the border before we return to Torsby for the big finale, the power stage, which offers bonus points for the top 3 fastest drivers. Okay, it is the last and decisive day of Rally Sweden as we join commentator Paul King.
Thanks, Kevin. So Norway awaits on this final day, as do thousands of fans awaiting this thrilling climax. Stunning stages again this morning, and we have deep snow everywhere. Thankfully for our leading drivers running further down the field, the preceding cars have swept most of the loose stuff away. Jari-Matti Latvala begins the final morning just over 6 seconds off the podium positions. The Volkswagen team have told him if he's feeling good, he's free to fight, so an exciting day ahead. Really interesting stages here. This actually passes right by 2003 world champion Petter Solberg's house, and it has been a strong start to the day for Latvala. So Jari-Matti making an aggressive start then. This is the battle to watch. It's down to Mads Osberg to respond. This final leg should suit M Sports #1, with much of the event running in Osberg's home country. And Midtanders Force itself is unique in the WRC as it actually crosses the border between Sweden and Norway mid-stage. Osberg sure to get a boost when he sees the Norwegian flags. Mads, one of the best in the business on the white stuff, flinging the car sideways really aggressively here. Mads holds on to third, but he has lost a couple of tenths to Latvala.
Nice to hear from young Mads this morning. I was struggling so much. Then when we passed the border, everything felt a lot better. So yeah, I don't know why, but at least The last half of the stage was quite good, but before that it was absolutely horrible.
All still very tight in the fight for third then. Snow falling again, and it's unlikely Mads can catch this man on the final day. Sebastian Loeb beginning with an advantage of more than half a minute. This really is a stunning stage. We have had near perfect conditions in Sweden's Snow Spectacular in 2013. So with the world champions runner-up spot looking safe, will we see a final day charge for the overall victory? Sebastian looking supreme on the snow this morning as the studded tyres bite into the icy surface, and he is pushing. Loeb quickest through so far, so the rally leader can't relax just yet. Ogier has enough time in hand that he can avoid excessive risks, but we still have more than 100 kilometres of racing against the clock to come today. Sebastian remains in control of his destiny. He drops 3.3 seconds to his compatriot in Mittander's force, but no cause for alarm just yet.
.3 slower, but there's a smile still on your face. I don't think you're too concerned.
No, it's perfect like that. I'm really happy. I was thinking I can lose 7, 8 on this stage, so it's okay.
You have it all under control.
Let's say we had to push because he's really flying now, but it's okay. It was a good stage.
So the race for the top podium spot still very much alive, with Loeb reducing the gap to 23.6 seconds, while Latvala has demonstrated his intention to catch Osberg and claim third. Yevgeny Novikov looks safe in fifth. Belgian Thierry Neuville is the best of the rest in sixth place.
So the two Sebastians with all still to play for on this final day. Sebastian Loeb ready to pounce on any mistakes by fellow Frenchman Sebastian Ogier. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the final day of Rally Sweden, joining Yevgeny Novikov as he passes through the Norwegian countryside. Yes, they've hopped over the border for the final stages. Every bit as spectacular, though, through the snow-covered forests.
Right, 3 short out road. 20. Crest short middle gas. Left one middle gas. 120.
Okay, let's now check out all the leading runners and riders now, watched by Paul King.
120. Crest short middle gas.
So we're now entirely across the border in Norway, and it's another incredible fast-flowing road coming up in our stage of the day. As you can see, it's all still to play for in the fight for the podium positions. And let's get straight back to that fascinating battle for third. Jari-Matti Latvala pushing as much as he dares out there. After a costly final day blunder left him pointless in Monte Carlo, he's under a certain amount of pressure to bring the car home for Volkswagen. He's changed his Polo setup to match that of his teammate Ogier, but because of that, he's also having to alter his driving style as he continues to pile the pressure on Mads Osberg's third place. And now rallying in a stage entirely based in his home country, Osberg is not going down quietly. Terrific images here of the Norwegian wilderness, and you can see Mads flinging the Fiesta RS from corner to corner. Snow Rally is one of the few events where sideways can still be the quickest way to drive. This time it's advantage Osberg in the fight for third. He's 0.3 of a second quicker in this 18-kilometre stage. Still too close to call in that fight then. Back with Loeb, and just look how aggressive the Frenchman is here. Let's take another look at that. Completely sideways through the corner, bouncing hard off the snowbank to stay on the road.
It's just small margins now.
Yeah, what can we do? We can just try to push, and but he's doing really well. So he's he didn't make any mistake. He was still very fast in the morning, so we can just try, but I think no real chance.
Yeah, Loeb knows time is running out. Back in the stage, our leader will be well aware of Loeb's performance by receiving the split times inside the car. So far, it's been a weekend of supreme speed and unerring control from Sébastien Ogier. He is utterly focused on securing this moment of sporting history for Volkswagen. And let's keep an eye on the two men's overall times as Seb powers on towards the finish boards. Here comes the flying finish. He should still have a comfortable lead. Yeah, but it is trimmed again. 22.2 now the difference between first and second. Behind the two Sebastians, Osberg's advantage over Latvala now stands at 6.2 seconds. Novikov, the Russian in the Ford Fiesta, remains in a comfortable fifth. Incredible conditions here in these Norwegian roads are providing a wintry test for Michelin's new X-Ice North 2 tyre.
This tire have to suit every condition. I mean, deep snow and ice, or also just gravel, icy gravel, you know, so not so many snow. So that's why before we were used to have plenty of solution for different conditions, but here we have, now with this regulation, we have to use only one tire. So according to this, we should find some compromise. That's why we put this protrusion of 6.5, and we open the tire a little more, so because you have to do everything.
With 384 studs on each corner, the drivers can really attack these snow-covered roads.
If you have a lot of snow, you need to drive sideways, and I think in newer times everyone is starting to be a bit more narrow and trying to make good lines. In Sweden you have to go wide to clear the snow out of the tires, and I think it makes it look very, very good. And also it's special with the white landscape and the snowbanks and the way you handle the car. So I think it's a mix of many things.
The two passes through the 7 kilometres of Kirkener are next. It's designed primarily as a fan-friendly test, and nationalities from all over the world are out in force to witness this enthralling fight to the finish in the frozen forests. Michał Kosciuszko has had a tough weekend but remains the leading Mini driver. The Polish youngster is in 16th, but on course to score a couple of points for the Lotos team in Sweden. Martin Prokop has struggled to find the optimum setup for his Fiesta at times this weekend, but he's battled on. The Czech national team man remains in the top 10, despite slipping behind Sordo in the standings this morning. And here is the Spaniard now. Danny up to 8th, despite an early excursion into a snowbank. Oh, but he's off again! And he is furious.
Sí, bueno, la verdad es lo que nos ha pasado ha sido bastante simple. Tenemos durante todo el fin de durante toda la carrera hemos tenido muchos problemas con la trasera del coche, que se salía de la trazada y el coche se iba muchísimo y no era capaz de volver a la carretera, y bueno, hemos estado luchando con él todo el fin de semana y muchísimos problemas, todo el día muy incómodo, y bueno, pues aquí nos hemos ido fuera un poco en un muro de nieve y había una piedra y bueno, hemos dañado.
It's just not been the Citroën drivers' weekend. Let's take another look. It's a carbon copy of his off earlier in the rally, and this time that is the end for Danny. The drama in Sweden spreading over the border then. Evgeny Novikov has so far kept out of trouble in his comfortable 5th position.
And left too short, narrow.
Oh, not again! Novikov off the road too. For the 2nd consecutive rally, a final day disaster for the Russian. Conditions clearly very slippery in this short stage. Well, these incidents will serve as a reminder for the rally leader that what would be a historic victory isn't quite his yet. Oh, and that's another warning for Ogier. A lucky escape for the VW star. Those snowbanks can save you or suck you in, and Sebastian, fortunate he could power through the snow. Thankfully, not too much time lost there for the Frenchman, but his heart would have been in his mouth for a moment. Ogier is 24.6 seconds ahead of Loeb after stage 20, while behind, Latvala continues to edge closer to Osberg. With Novikov losing 10 minutes getting out of the snow, the Russian has dropped to 9th, with Neuville replacing him in 5th. Next is a second pass through the stunning Thingskorgen stage. Time and kilometres are running out for Latvala to close up on the man in 3rd. 5 seconds seems like nothing, but with Osberg matching him blow for blow, Jari is looking increasingly resigned to his fate.
Jari's still all quite close, and you still got to keep pushing and pushing. Was that a big push?
I tried, I really tried, but I don't know. I feel it's not going to be enough match. He's going to be very fast on this stage, so I can't take 5 seconds anyway. It just seems to be impossible to take it so quickly. I don't, even though it's the same car, but I can't, than OCR, but I can't drive that speed.
Why?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
Sebastian Loeb is in a similar situation. Try as he might, he just can't make any serious inroads into Ogier's advantage. The world champion is currently the only non-Scandinavian to win this event, but his fellow countryman is edging ever closer to making it too. Oh, and another big moment in the snowbank for Loeb. I think that could really be it for Seb's hopes of a win now. Clearly losing a few seconds there. Like Ogier, really fortunate to power out of the bank. It's been a valiant effort from Loeb, but it looks as though he might have to settle for second after that.
I went a bit in a snowbank, lost some time, and I've done a few mistakes. And so then I said, okay, I back off a bit.
So was that the decisive moment? That small error from Loeb has left him 35.4 seconds adrift of the top spot, and the fight for 3rd could be done too. Osberg's late surge means he's now 8.3 up on Latvala.
Well, luckily no significant damage to Loeb or Ogier's cars, as they only have a remote service to make any repairs. Remote service means that other than a change of tyres, only spares that can be carried in the car can be used, and there are other restrictions too.
For this kind of service, we put some spare parts in the car, just to be safe. Something happens, we can fix it and send it back out in the stage. We never know what could fail, but we cannot put everything in a car, obviously, because of the weight, so we have to just choose something. We're not allowed to have any kind of tent or anything to protect from the weather, so we only have a ground sheet, and we have, of course, our arm tools, nothing else, no power tools unless it's electrical.
And with that, the cars now make their way from remote service to the final stage. Just 20 more kilometres between Sebastian Ogier and a place in history. Welcome once again to Rally Sweden, the final twists and turns of a thrilling event about to be played out in the forests. But before the finale of this second round of the World Rally Championship, let's see how it all turned out in the Support Championship this weekend. Everything to play for in the WRC 2. Yazid Al-Raji had the drive of his life on Saturday as he cut Anders Grondal's 30-second lead down to a mere 4.6 seconds. Today was all about the battle for that top spot. Grondal looking for inspiration from his home fans as the rally crossed the border into Norway. But he would go on to suffer a spin on the first stage. And the man from Saudi Arabia punished him, winning all but the final stage here in Sweden in his S2000 Ford Fiesta. Al-Raji opening up a lead of over 40 seconds on the final day. The German Sepp Wiegand finished in 3rd. After his opening round victory in Monte Carlo, he retains the championship lead. But the honours here going to Yazid Al-Raji after his maiden victory in the WRC2. Confirmation then of Al-Raji's first win of the championship by 43 seconds. Grondal wins his first points of the season and Sepp Wiegand collects 15 for third, which is enough to see him leading by 13 points after the first 2 rounds. OK, back to the main event now, and Paul King.
Yes, we're moving on to the grand finale, and with the top position seemingly secured, this will still be a nerve-wracking final 19 kilometres for the 3 men in the podium places, and bonus points on offer in the power stage as well for the top 3 times. Mads Osberg will be ruining those early engine problems that hampered any hopes he had of fighting for the win, but this has been a tremendous fight back from the Norwegian. He's seen off Jari-Matti Latvala's threat, and it's 3 consecutive podium finishes in Sweden.
It's been a big fight to get back into third, and it's been very up and down for me. So I'm very pleased to have won this fight with Jari-Matti, and it's a very great feeling now.
It's been an intriguing couple of days watching 9-time world champion Sébastien Loeb hunting down his great rival and fellow Frenchman Ogier. Ultimately, though, Loeb was never able to recover from the bad qualifying display that had him on the back foot from the off. So as this dominating Frenchman named Sébastien nears retirement, it appears we already have a pretender to his crown. It's second place for the Citroën star, co-driver Daniel Elena.
We lost 30 seconds on this first day. Since that, we were on a good rhythm, but okay, Seb Ogier didn't make any mistake. He has done a perfect rally, so there was nothing more to do.
But it's been a quite remarkable weekend for Sébastien Ogier. This is a historic moment for Volkswagen and indeed the Frenchman. Yeah! Absolute delight for Ogier and co-driver Julien Ingracia. And just look what that means to the team back at the service park. It's a first ever WRC victory for Volkswagen, and Ogier joins his compatriot Loeb as the only non-Scandinavians to win in Rally Sweden. There's also an extra 3 points for Ogier for the power stage win, a perfect finish to a perfect day.
We worked really hard all the year with the team, and everybody did a lot of effort for that, but we never expected to be as performant as we were this weekend already.
And of course another 3 points for Ogier for that power stage win to add to the 25 he collects for winning the rally. Confirmation there's a bonus 2 for Latvala and 1 for Osberg.
An historic day then. Ogier's final winning margin more than 40 seconds ahead of world champion Sébastien Loeb. Mads Osberg in third. Further down, confirmation that Yevgeny Novikov managed to finish, but having to settle for a disappointing 9th after that late off. Over at Volkswagen, it's sheer joy.
This is a historic win for many reasons, but for you personally, what does this victory mean?
A lot of happiness first for sure, but I'm really proud for myself and for all my team, because we've started from zero last year and we have done a lot of work to develop this car, and to see the car and the team at this level already after 2 races is just amazing. So I'm happy that they trust me, I trust them as well, and I'm sure it's the beginning of a nice story.
So the next step is world champion.
It's first try to get other victory, and we have done only 2 races and 11 to go, so still a lot to do.
Now you're only the second ever non-Scandinavian driver to win in Sweden.
Yeah, that's a really good feeling. To join Seb on the list, everybody knows that Seb is the best rally driver ever, and this weekend I'm joining him on the list and I beat him here, so it's really good.
Just incredibly emotional scenes. Did you ever dream that on its second rally this car could win?
No, never ever, isn't it? I think nobody would have dreamed of that. It's, I don't know what to say. I think I have to stop.
And it's with the emotions that you're feeling right now, a long process to get to this point.
Yeah, it's it's hard work for everybody, and most of the others are even longer in the team than I am, so they deserve even more credit for that than I do.
And the good news just keeps on coming for VW, as that power stage victory means Ogier takes over at the top of the Drivers' Championship from Loeb. Osberg is the leading Scandinavian in third. Finns Latvala and Hirvonen 5th and 6th respectively. They'll be desperate to improve on those positions very quickly. Volkswagen still second in the Manufacturers' Championship, but Ogier's win plus Latvala's 4th place sees them close up on Citroën, just 2 points behind now. Ogier and Volkswagen on top of the podium. The new boys on the block clearly mean business. The next big test, the gravel stages of Mexico. For now, from the snow and ice of Sweden, thanks for watching. We'll see you again.